Have you ever heard of Stanley Myers?
That's Oscar Myers' brother.
Yes.
Yeah. He's the founder of Hewitt Stanley.
Mm-hmm. No.
Stanley Myers?
Mm-hmm.
Mike Myers' brother.
No, Michael Myers.
He's the opposite of Michael Myers. He's like really friendly to people and only like cures their wounds and stuff.
Oh my gosh. I saw the greatest trope for a D&D campaign. It's a town plagued by a serial killer, and then a necromancer who keeps raising the people that the person
great.
killed.
That's great. Can we do that?
Dude, I have so many ideas for
us to pull off in campaigns.
Well, that I want to run. Like I want to.
Yeah.
There's like so many mechanics because I like when like everybody rolls for initiative.
Yeah.
But essentially you roll as a block. Like everybody rolls for initiative.
Yeah.
But you can choose who goes in those spots.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So like hypothetically, like if I rolled a 20, you rolled like a 6, but then like other people rolled at different times, then I could say, well, I'm going to give my 20 spot to Josh.
Right.
Because you have a better opener for whatever reason.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like you need to have earlier access to your stuff than what I do.
Right. It's one of those things where like if all the enemies are grouped together and you have your barbarian or fighter that still only has like one attack but has no AoE attacks, you could be like, hey, can you go?
He rolled higher, so he gives his spot to
the warlock or whatever that can fireball. Yeah, exactly. I think it works. It works for like a more of a realistic portrayal of like combat.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
And there's some also dungeon crawler stuff that I want to do.
I also like the fact that you and I automatically think of Fireball every time.
Oh yeah, it's like I saw a shirt.
They're grouped together. Fireball.
Yeah, I saw a shirt that says you talk an awful lot of crap for somebody in Fireball range.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a would you rather question for you.
Oh, you know I like those.
Would you rather argue with a clone who thinks it's the original you, or live peacefully knowing that you are the copy?
Ooh. So in this scenario, you're either the original guy and somebody else is cloned off of you, but he thinks that he's the OG.
Yes. Or you just kind of make peace with the fact that you may or may not be the copy.
That's a tough one. I think that because of my personality, I would probably be more on the side of coming to peace with the fact that I might be the copy. I think that there's like, I don't know. That's a tough one. I do love to argue, so there's that.
I know
like,
that's where my whole thing was. I was like, ooh, man, I could argue with myself all day. I mean, I do it anyway.
Right.
But
well, wait, so you mean it exists inside my head like I always do?
Yeah, but it's a physical manifestation this time.
I'm actually talking to someone, so I don't look at it.
It's not the mirror.
Yeah.
Just like sitting there pointing at the mirror.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know, I think that for the sake of like, because I'm the type of person that's like, if I'm arguing something and it feels like the argument is a practice in futility, like there is no like legitimate standpoint or legitimate way to kind of prove something. So if the guy's a clone, technically speaking, there's no way to prove which one of us is the OG except for memories.
Right, but and I'm thinking in this scenario, like up until the point you were cloned, you have it's an exact carbon copy.
Yeah, it's your memories and everything.
Yeah,
right?
so like up until the point of like you don't necessarily know, like you basically black out, wake up in an operating room, and that's where everything starts.
So you would really have no way of actually technically knowing that you were the OG. You would just think you were.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd rather embrace being the clone. That's like melting my mind just to think about it.
Right, it's like, how do you
argue that? Yeah. I don't know, man. That's, Yeah, because like if he's identical to you and has your memories and everything and stuff like that, there's literally no way to prove it, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not like you could be like, well, what was the first thing I ever said to my wife?
And then you both like...
You both say it at the same time, and you're just like, well, okay, poop. You know?
Yeah. It's like the guard, you know, one only tells a lie, one only tells the truth, like kind of thing.
Which one of you is telling the truth?
No, what you did, you know the D&D trope for that? Not to go back to D&D, but do you know the D&D trope for that?
I'm not sure if I do or not. I know I've heard it before, but
you like punch or kill the other person, and then are they dead?
Oh,
Yes.
no, but if you say
he's telling the truth.
if one's always telling the truth and one's always telling a lie, you just have to ask which one of you is telling the truth. Because the one who's telling the truth would have to signify himself, and the one who's telling a lie would have to signify that it's the other guy, right?
No, if he's lying, he could say, I'm telling the truth. So they're both saying that I'm telling the truth. You would have to ask it.
Who's lying?
Yeah.
Which one of you is
Which
lying?
one of you is lying?
Right. And then the guy is telling the truth would have to signify the other guy. No.
Yeah, because it's the
Then
same.
the other guy still lies.
No.
I don't think more on that. Because there was a question that I heard at one point in time that if you ask those guys, that they would identify
Yeah.
the same person, so you know which one is telling the truth in a sense. And I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I like my solution
a
better.
lot of philosophical things. Just kill one. Is he dead?
No.
Well, you're the liar. But then the guy tells the truth is dead, so you don't know what the answer was that you needed out of him.
Yeah.
So, all right. Are you ready to fire this thing off?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Josh.
Good morning, Josh.
Recognize me? No? Well, I'm Josh.
I got suspended from school because of Josh.
You're going to be there with me in every way imaginable, Josh.
Josh is truly in a trance, yes.
I went to high school with Josh, and I can tell you right now, he's a terrific kisser.
Hi, I'm Josh.
Josh, these are people's jobs we're talking about, Josh. Thank you very much. Hi.
Josh walking in the door wasn't even close.
Josh, you are a muffin-snuggling pirate puncher.
Josh is a good guy. We can talk to him.
Please welcome Joshua.
Welcome back, everybody. It's
Season 2.
We are so excited to be kicking off another
sir.
season with you guys. If you're listening to this, it means that we survived another New Year.
Yes.
We are now.
Wouldn't that be crazy, though? Like, since we're recording this before New Year's, just assuming that we made it through another year.
Yeah, right. That's the crazy thing about the podcast world is like you're recording things for the future dates, right? Never knowing if, Jesus could come back between now and the time that this releases, and so
We could both win the lottery and never be here again. But I guess you'd have to play the lottery to win the lottery.
True. Got to play it to win it.
That's fair.
So we'll never be winning the lottery, yeah. So it's if you're listening to this right now, it is 2026. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome.
We're glad that you made it here. We hope that that everything's going well for you. We hope that you had a really good Christmas.
Yep.
Because we're coming off of that. We hope they had a really good New Year's because we're past that now too. Josh and I are gathered together on December the 20th, just 5 days out from Christmas Day.
Right.
In 2025 right now. So
Which it's really weird because, like, I was talking with Brooke on my way up to the podcast loft, and we were like, it doesn't feel like Christmas. I think if it would have stayed cold and not, like, got up to, like, 60 this last week, it probably would have felt more, but, like, it's supposed to be, like, 47 and raining on Christmas.
This year, I don't know what it is about it, but this year is, like, the least Christmassy that I've felt
Right.
in a long time.
Like, I kind of have to, like, trick myself into thinking it's Christmas and everything, but
yeah, I keep having to like take a moment and like hype myself up for different things.
Right.
Like even last night we sat down to watch Christmas Vacation, and
nothing.
I was like, it's my favorite movie. Like, well, not favorite movie overall, but it's my favorite comedy movie and favorite Christmas movie by far. And I just like couldn't get into it last night. I don't know why. I was quoting along with it and all that kind of stuff, and then I finally, like a little ways through it, I was like, I think I'm gonna go play Minecraft.
Yeah,
because I just wasn't into it. Which, by the way, you got to jump on the server and check out what I made.
Oh yeah,
I did a little something for us to be festive. So maybe I am a little bit in the Christmas.
Okay. So. And I told Josh before we started, I wanted to start off with an apology that I neglected one of my favorite Christmas movies. That you ever have those movies where you forget how much you love them until you watch them?
Yes. Yeah.
And
I got a bunch of those.
And mine is by far a Christmas Carol. I'm Up at Christmas Carol.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why. I
Carol.
love that movie. Like the fact that like Michael Caine took that movie and took that role so seriously.
Yeah.
And like treated them like actual acturs. It makes that movie so much better.
Yeah. I forgot about that one. Did you ever watch was it Scrooge with
Bill Murray?
Yeah, Bill Murray.
I actually don't think I've ever seen that movie.
That one's pretty good. I didn't mind that movie too. So.
But then you have the contrast of oh shoot, what's his name? Muppet Treasure Island was.
I don't know that I ever saw that one, so I can't help you out with that.
The actor that plays like the hotel manager in Home Alone 2. He plays Pennywise.
Yeah, I know who you're talking
in the
about.
original. Why can I not think of his name? Dr. Frankenfurter in Rocky Horror.
Yeah, I just had it in the front of my mind. I couldn't think of
And
it.
I can't think of it, but he plays.
I'm getting there. I'm doing
I know.
research
I'm
on
trying
it,
to vamp
so.
before. But he plays
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry.
Yeah.
He takes his role seriously, but he leans into the comedy.
Right.
And just the two contrasting styles because they're both great actors.
Yep.
I mean,
for sure.
Tim Curry is such a good actor. I mean, it's sad to see his health decline.
Yeah.
But then Michael Caine, I mean, he knocks Scrooge out of the park.
100%.
Like, because I'm on the side of TikTok now where it's just this song. It's like, he's Michael Caine in a Christmas film. It's Michael Caine in a Christmas film. It's Michael Caine in a Christmas film. Like,
I'm not gonna lie, I'm still happy I'm not on TikTok.
so that's where I'm at in my algorithm as the holidays are, because yep. But
All right. Well, since we are this is season 2 of the Good Morning Josh podcast.
Episode 1.
Yeah, episode 1. And as we're kicking it off, we're going to continue on in our traditions of the things that we have done as a podcast for the past year.
First of the month.
First of the month means that we are into our cryptid of the month.
What you got for me?
So today's cryptid creature is going to take us to a place called Enfield, Illinois.
Oh, you're doing the Enfield monster?
You know who we're talking about.
Okay,
That's right.
so I know, like I said, when I did the Flatwoods monster,
Yeah.
I kind of always interchange the two.
Yeah.
Because when I originally,
For sure.
because I wanted to go down a path, which I'm probably going to continue in February when I do my cryptid,
Yep.
where Flatwoods monster, Mothman, and the introduction of the Men in Black are all kind of interwoven.
Tied together, yep, for sure.
So I originally searched the Enfield monster, and I'm like, this doesn't sound right. And then I started doing, and then it's like, oh no, this doesn't. Oh, I'm dumb. This is the wrong one.
Yeah, totally different monster. Most people out there probably don't know much about the Enfield. It's called the Enfield,
Enfield
Horror is its official name. So it's in Enfield, Illinois, which is about 15 miles from the Kentucky border. It began with approximately 700 people back in
600-700 people.
Yeah, I hate that. Back in the 1880, and it reached a peak of 929 people in 1920, and has fluctuated up and down since then, landing at about 794 people in the 2020 census. Is
So
how many people,
not a bustling metropolis.
This is a tiny, tiny little place, and yeah, so not a huge.
You said it was
city.
in Kentucky, or
It's in Illinois.
Illinois.
It's right near the Kentucky border. So it's about 15 miles from the Kentucky border. So yeah, so it's fluctuated from 700 to its peak of 929 people. So a pretty small town. As you can imagine, it is a relatively quiet little small town. But the chilly night of April 25th, 1973 brought everything to a whole different world in Enfield, Illinois. A young boy named Greg Garrett was home by himself, and he claimed to have been attacked by a very bizarre beast while playing in his backyard.
okay.
So Greg, his last name's Garrett, is out in the yard just having a good time, as a young boy does in a small town, feeling relatively safe. Especially this is 1973, right? So you think about small towns, middle of nowhere, America and stuff. Like I grew up in an area kind of like this, to where when I was a kid, you didn't lock your doors.
Right.
Kids roamed around out in the yard and in the woods and stuff like that. It wasn't a big deal for kids to be doing this kind of stuff. So Greg's out there playing around, and then he begins to describe this monster that came and attacked him. And I'm going to get to the descriptions later on of the monster and everything, but one of the funniest parts of Greg's description of this monster that attacked him in the yard was that he said that the creature apparently, and this is in quotations, stamped on the boy's feet with his own, get this, 3 feet.
So okay.
So the attack was, at least in part, just simply the creature toe stomping.
I was just saying, playing footsie with Greg.
Playing footsie with Greg. So Greg runs home crying hysterically. His shoes were messed up and torn. He had gashes on him and stuff from the attack from this creature and everything. But as you can imagine, being a young boy who's out by himself, vivid imagination, all that kind of stuff, everybody's kind of like, sure, Greg. Okay. Sure, bud. Okay, thank you. So later on, there's another encounter, and this time the encounter is one that is verified by an adult. So this isn't just simply like kids seeing things in a sense. So it was around 9:30 p.m. The McDaniels, this is Mr. and Mrs. McDaniel, the older of them, they come home from having been out, and their two children, Henry Jr. and Lil, are in the house in a terrified stupor. What they mean, like, is they said that, like, when they came home, the children were like sitting together, curled up in a corner, and like crying and scared for their lives.
Oh man,
yeah. So it's something big has happened, right? The children claimed that a thing, that's the way they described it, had tried to break into their house through the door while their parents were gone. So it's kind of like horror movie type of stuff, right? These two kids are there by themselves. There's all this ruckus at the door and stuff like that. Something's trying to break in. And so the children were telling their parents about this kind of horrifying encounter. And the entire family, as they're together and they're telling the story, begins to hear scratching at the front door.
I'm not liking where this is going. Like, this is like some monster creature feature.
This is real like horror story stuff, right? So, in true dad style, thinking that, okay, it's got to be just a stray cat or an animal or something like that from the woods, Mr. McDaniels, who is a former Marine, walks to the door and opens it in kind of a wonton fashion. Like, the way they said it was like, he just went over there and threw the door open to try to, like he was going to try to startle what was on the other side of the door. But the thing on the other side of the door, instead of running away or being scared of him, sent shivers down his spine. It was the same red-eyed monstrosity that had terrified his children and that had stamped on Greg's feet less than an hour before this, right? So McDaniel backs away from this terrifying thing that's at his door, slams the door in his face, stumbles to his nearby closet and retrieves a flashlight and a .22 pistol that he had stored in the top of the closet. He then goes back and reopens the door and fires 4 shots, sending the creature off into the woods with a loud screech. So, according to McDaniels, he's confident that he hit this creature.
Right. Well, so it's almost sounding like the Skinwalker Ranch stories with like the giant dire wolves or whatever that they were describing, where they seemed like invincible. Like, I mean, it's a .22. I mean, but it's still a projectile fired bullet. So,
right. So let me give you a little perspective, because yes, we do kind of think about things like Skinwalker Ranch, right? So you've got these kind of hybrid creatures that seem like they're like really big and stuff.
Right.
We've talked about the Popelik Creek monster,
right,
who was like, giant werewolf kind of looking thing. We talked about Krampus.
Yeah, Krampus.
So all over the world, there's kind of these like this imagery of the humanoid werewolf kind of deal, right? Mm-hmm. Bigger in size, really intimidating. Let me describe what both Greg and Mr. McDaniels described the Enfield monster or Enfield Horror as being like. His height, they said, was approximately 4 foot to 4.5 foot tall.
Okay.
Its body, this is what they said, was grayish, possibly hairless, or very thinly furred, right? So it's not
like a creature that had mange.
Yeah, to a degree, right? Because like again, when we go to like a bunch of the other cryptids that we hear about, whether it's Bigfoot, whether it's Popelik Creek,
like they're
all like furry,
like
and sometimes it's matted and oily and all that kind of stuff. This one, they said he's like, it's like this 4 foot tall little grayish colored like gremlin thing basically, and it's very thinly furred, if it had fur at all. Its eyes were reddish in color, is what they said, but not glowing in the sense like a lot of our other cryptids are. This is more like a normal creature, but maybe like bloodshot eyes and stuff. And I'll say this, like my whole feeling of like all of this as we go through it is either this thing was some kind of like terrible mutation of some other animal, or it was like had disease and stuff with
Right,
it, like
like
rabies or something.
Like as soon as you started describing it, I was like, oh, that just sounds like a black bear. That
Have you ever seen a shaved black bear?
they're horrifying.
Terrifying looking. Yeah, so that could very well be.
I mean, and that kind of, you know, in the moment. How far apart were these two stories?
An hour.
Oh, they were an hour apart.
Greg was attacked somewhere around like 8 to 8:30 p.m. The McDaniels experienced this. So like the way the timeline's laid out, it makes it seem like Greg was attacked. The thing ran away, right? Because maybe Greg just made too much noise or punched it or whatever. It doesn't say. But they ran away from Greg, went straight to the McDaniels house. Maybe saw the kids outside if they were outside or whatever. But when they went in, it went and started like clawing at the door and stuff. And then the McDaniels arrived home. It saw them go in the house. It went back to the door again to try to get in because it sees people again. And that's when it's confronted with Mr. McDaniels, who is much more, formidable person to go up against.
Right.
So it says in both reports, they reported that the creature had 3 legs. So it's supposedly standing on its hind legs, and it has three legs. I have no clue what that would even look like, how that's supposed to go about.
So it's standing on 3 legs, or
standing on 3 legs, because they said that it had arms, and its arms hung almost all the way down to the ground. So this is kind of getting into like the werewolf, longer arms. With it said they had pinkish colored hands that were claw like. So they're almost kind of like curled in hands, that are hung down by their sides. It says his head was small with no clearly visible neck. So the more I hear about this thing is like it's
Danny DeVito.
The more I hear about it, the more it makes me think of like if somebody took a black bear and a pug and like crossbred them, and that's what came out. You know what I'm saying? But it had large, like reddish eyes, is the way they were described. Its chest was reportedly had a short and wide chest, and when it moved extremely fast. It bounded or leaped rather than walking. So this is kind of like almost more rabbit-esque in a sense, like the way that they kind of hop forwards is bounding or leaping in that sense. So those were the descriptions and this is like the descriptions held true. Greg being talked to separately from the McDaniels, they all gave the same description.
Right. And it's not like there was time in between to like sensationalize like what they saw like independently.
According to the things that I read, they didn't even talk to each other until after the fact and stuff like that. Like that the McDaniels had no idea that Greg had encountered this creature and vice versa. Until like days afterwards. So there were some physical evidences of the presence of the creature. The door of the McDaniels house, there actually were like deep gashes and like scrapes on the door and stuff. So this wasn't like a group hallucination or anything along those lines. There was no physical remains that were recovered. Like there was no blood, no body from where Mr. McDaniel shot the creature, and there were no confirmed tracks. So they weren't able to find like any impressions in the ground and stuff like that would match something other than humanoid in that sense. Several nearby residents in the area reported hearing strange noises. They saw a creature leaping across roads, but couldn't make out what it was, you know what I'm saying? Because it was so fast in that sense.
Right.
And then there were brief glimpses of something moving unnaturally fast in like the woods and stuff around people's houses, but no one else ever got like a clear sighting of saying like, this is exactly what they described.
Saw.
But people were saying there were strange instances of things like happening that they couldn't explain. The media coverage on it and stuff like that was pretty sparse, but local and regional newspapers reported the story. It gained a bunch of attention through UFO and cryptid publications.
Of course.
Eventually, just like us, and radio talk shows and stuff that kind of talked about those things. And then, of course, it later became really popular with cryptozoology books, podcasts, documentaries, all that kind of stuff started kind of picking up on the Enfield Horror. And so that's why it's become kind of a bigger known story. As far as like credibility to the story, because that's one of the biggest things that everybody worries about with these creatures.
Yeah, of course.
How do we know, in a sense, was this real? Mr. McDaniels, to the day of his death, maintained his story consistently. Like, he never wavered on it. Never, like, even on his, like up to the time that he died, he never once like came out and said, "Oh, this was all just a joke," or or maybe my family was hallucinating, anything along those lines. He held to all the way up until his death. No, like there was some kind of like terrifying creature that came to our house that night. There was no evidence that he ever sought fame or profit from it. So McDaniels never went after this in the sense of going like, "Hey, let's try to write a book or try to do anything along those lines." It was just they told their story and let people kind of roll with it in that sense. And then the final thing was, kind of people trying to rationale this out in a sense. Were like, well, maybe it was like stress, maybe it was just dark, maybe it was the surprise for the family of something showing up at their door and stuff, and them not knowing what to do. They kind of led them to see what they saw and stuff. But either way, the case remains unsolved as to what the Enfield Horror truly is.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, all throughout that, I'm like, oh, it's just a messed up black bear, but they don't move very fast. Like, they move fast-ish, but not like to...
Black bears are not crazy fast, that's for sure. Yeah. Like, I've experienced them. Like, so black bears are not as common anymore, but they used to be really common in eastern North Carolina, like towards the coast.
Right.
And so I've seen them in the wild and stuff like that. And
I mean, we've had some black bear sparingly around this area too.
Yeah. Like every once in a while, they just kind of roll them out into new territories and you see them.
Everything they're more curious than aggressive.
Yeah.
It seems. I mean, and obviously if it's like a deranged one or something's wrong with it, then obviously it's going to have a little bit more of a ill temper, but
yeah. Usually when you see videos of black bears and stuff like that online, somebody starts yelling or does something loud and it scares them away. They'd run away from them and stuff. But have you ever seen that video of the guy that the black bear came up on his porch and was trying to get his dog and he like fights it off?
Yeah,
that guy. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but then it does show that like if a human being like confronts a black bear, typically they will back away,
right?
Because we're about equal with them in size and stuff like that. They're just, they got sharp claws and teeth.
Right. And I know that there's certain different survival techniques. Like I think black bears, you kind of make yourself look bigger.
Yeah.
But like
get loud, get big, all that kind of stuff.
But like brown bears and up, you kind of just play dead and they,
Yeah, especially with grizzlies.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah.
You can't outrun them. You can't fight them. You just might as well
just play dead and hopefully it leaves you alone.
They actually say that you like to lay down in the fetal position and poop yourself is literally the best plan that you have.
And I mean, if it's a polar bear, you're pretty much dead anyway. So.
Yeah. If it's a polar bear, why are you there?
Right.
That's my question for you. So cool. So that is the Enfield Horror. Not a terribly long story and stuff because it was a limited number of sightings in that one. And
right.
Stuff. But yeah, I thought that it was an interesting story just because of, it'd have been one thing if it was this little kid, Greg, that kind of made up a story and nobody believed him. But to have a grown man that was an ex-Marine that came face to face with this thing and was scared enough to tell the story and be like, yep, I was terrified. That to me speaks a lot to the validity of the Enfield Horror.
That's really cool. I like again, I knew about the Enfield Horror, but I didn't know the details.
I was gonna say, I think we both have seen its name on lists and stuff because we do a lot of research into cryptid creatures and all that. But yeah, that was when I came across the story and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, that's one worth like bringing up for us because we dove into Popelet Creek Monster and all the rest of those too, and they're weird enough. So
yeah, we still need to write out the Krampus cinematic universe.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like Deadpool style where he has to go
develop the creatures and all that kind of stuff. That'd be great.
Staying in that geographical region.
Right on the border of Kentucky?
Yeah. Well, actually into Kentucky. Josh, have you ever heard about the Kentucky meat shower?
The Kentucky meat shower?
Yes, the Kentucky meat shower.
Please tell me I don't need to go to Urban Dictionary for this.
Yeah, don't go to Urban Dictionary. So the Kentucky meat shower happened it's March 3rd, 1876. So a few years ago.
1876. So this is right around the time of the Great Rabbit Hunt.
Yeah.
Same, right, close to the same time that Napoleon was getting chased off by rabbits.
Which is so crazy to think because I don't think that the Victorian era of Europe was happening during like this time.
Yeah. It's hard to associate the two.
We had to do a thing on how time is weird because there's a lot of different things. So,
oh my gosh, there's so much to that. Yeah.
So Bath County, Kentucky, near Olympia Springs. It's late morning. The sky is clear. Vibes are pretty much normal. There's a woman named Mrs. Crouch outside making soap because it's the 19th century and Target hadn't been invented yet. You know, you don't have the big box chain stores in the late 1800s.
Right.
She's making her soap, and then she notices flakes falling from a cloudless sky.
She notices flakes falling? Okay.
Yeah. And then so she takes a closer look, and she's like, oh, that's not snow. It's meat.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Go on.
So actual visible chunks of red fleshy stuff start falling over an area later described as about 100 by 50 yards. So,
okay,
roughly the size of goal line to goal line of a football field.
Okay.
So that's a decent size area.
It's a decent size area, but not like crazy big.
Right. But enough to be like, why is there meat coming from the sky?
Yeah. I think anytime if it was one piece of meat that falls from the sky,
right,
we'd be asking questions.
So newspapers said it felt like snowflakes, except the flakes ranged from tiny shreds of up to chunks of about 2 to 4 inches across.
Okay. Flakes, meaning like shaved meat?
Yeah.
So like prosciutto.
Yeah. So basically imagine the world's worst charcuterie board being tossed straight from heaven. Just
jeez Louise. God's like, all right, this Christmas party's over. Throws the meat out, but it falls down to earth. Okay.
So the meat lands on fences, trees, and the ground. No storm, no tornado, no UFO, just sky meat.
Just out of the blue.
Yep.
Because you said there was no clouds.
Right.
And there's nothing else like above.
Nope.
Was this woman the only one that experienced this?
So,
like that was there, like in the...
Yes. So obviously it's 1876. Nobody has phones, Netflix, TV, anything like that. So the neighbors came over and do the only logical thing. When mystery flesh rains from above, they start collecting it. And then some of them start to eat it.
What?
On purpose. Yeah. So, according to later reports, locals claim it tasted like mutton or venison or maybe bear with slightly different textures.
Or maybe human. You a bunch of freaking hillbillies out in Kentucky. For real? They like... So, okay. Unexplained meat falls from the sky.
Uh-huh.
And some of the people's reaction is, we should totally eat this.
Dude, it's Kentucky.
I got so many questions.
So the textures were described some were more like muscle, some were like organ tissue, and a few animals on the farm ate it as well. So one dog allegedly got sick, which honestly feels like the least shocking part about this entire story.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That doesn't bother me at all.
Crucial detail, multiple newspapers covered this. Not one dude at a bar telling you, bro, one time it rained brisket. This made it into press accounts, which is why historians take it seriously as a real event and not just frontier fan fiction.
Right.
So, like, this was reported by multiple news sources.
That's... Okay.
So,
all right.
so we'll go into the news story. So, contemporary papers obviously loved this story. They reported that one claim The meat rained down around the Crouch home in a clear sky, no clouds or storms, emphasizing just how weird it was, which naturally, that's pretty stinking weird when just meat starts falling from the sky.
Yes. Yeah.
So they described the
That's
pieces.
top of the list for me.
Yeah. So they described the pieces as red, fibrous, and raw, looking like beef or mutton, spread across that 100 by 50 yard area. Reporters noted that people tried it, animals tried it. Everyone was basically LARPing as Food Network judges for the cursed sky food.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Look, I understand backwoods Kentucky, right?
Right.
I'm from backwoods North Carolina.
Right.
I get people are weird. People do some strange things and stuff like that.
But this kind of takes the cake.
But meat falling from the sky.
Uh-huh.
Like just running out and grabbing that and cooking it up. I don't get that.
Right. So
You got to be hungry.
yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So newspapers, as news spread, the samples were packed and mailed to doctors and scientists in jars of alcohol because nothing says serious scientific inquiry like unsolicited meat in 19th century mail.
I found this meat in my yard. Here, I'll put it in some alcohol and send it to you.
Yeah. So
Gosh.
so some of the examiners said it looked like muscle tissue. Others said lung, cartilage, or other organs. They couldn't agree on which animal it came from. Cow, sheep, horse, wild game, and that was just some real meat of some kind.
I understand this is like the late 1800s. And I understand that like certain bunches of animals, right? Like if you look at their meat compared side by side,
Right. They're going to be
looks
different.
the same and stuff, but like
The same, but some differences.
Yeah, some differences. I just have a really hard time comprehending like that. Again, I keep going back to number one, that they ate it. But number two, that now they're sending it into scientific places and they can't identify what it is.
Right.
Okay.
They can identify it, but they don't know where it came from. So they're like,
but they don't know what animal it came
right.
from.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they don't know what animal. So they're like, well, it's organ and tissue and muscle, but
that's what I say, which is crazy that it's also various different kinds of meat makeup.
Right. So we wouldn't be us if we didn't talk about some conspiracies.
Sure. Yeah, I love conspiracies.
So because meat falling from the sky
qualifies,
and it's not because it's DoorDash, not because DoorDash learned to fly, but people, be people. So Conspiracy Brain says it's 1876. The U.S. is less than a century old, and somewhere in a secret lab, the government is testing early weather control projects called Operation Meatstorm. So, it's almost too... it's well too early for like full on government conspiracy theories.
Sure.
So
I don't think it's ever too early for government conspiracy theories.
But there's no historical evidence for weather project involving meat in 1876.
Well, especially not one that falls just on the size of a football field.
Right.
That's
it. And I mean, so I can.
That's real
if you
specific.
do it, okay, so I'm working through this theory in my head. So if you would use it in modern day, if you had an army or a group of people in a wooded, secluded area that you were trying to, no pun intended, flesh out, you could drop this meat in there and all the wild animals and stuff would start coming out and maybe provoking an attack and them, moving out of that area.
Maybe so.
That's like me stretching as far as I can stretch to make that conspiracy make sense.
Sure.
But again, it's 1876. So the next theory is the alien meat dump. Yep. So cows get abducted. Everybody just like, oh, well, I lost Bessie today. Like, well, So, but what if this was cosmic trash day that nobody asked for? Like they're just jettisoning.
What if aliens are kidnapping cows, but they don't actually eat the meat? They just eat the bones.
Right. Well, huh.
So they've taken all the meat and stuff off. They only want the skin because the entire interior of their spaceship is made of leather. Yeah. And then they eat the bones and all the other stuff that we don't want. And they're like, these humans seem to consume all the meat from the cows, so let's just give it back to them.
Yeah.
And they just
Well, like that's the thing. It's just like I've always heard, like, what if all these alien sightings and stuff are just like teenage aliens just like trying to pull pranks on
people.
Yeah. So basically, it's some extraterrestrial crew is cleaning the saucer freezer, and it looks like a pile of rancid space jerky, and says, "Drop it over Kentucky. They'll think it's a sign."
Give it to the people in Kentucky. They'll eat it.
Pretty much.
Those hillbillies will eat anything. They just throw it out. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
But again, there was no signs of, strange lights, any craft, anything like that. So that really doesn't, aside from the meat falling from the sky, there's really no.
Well, okay, so my theory to this, as soon as you described it, was, and it falls apart, and I'll tell you why. But my theory in this is that there was, some farmer or his kid was out there with a stick of dynamite, was messing around, and a cow walked right on top of it as they set it off, and just, and so all the meat rains down in this area around. But the problems with that is that, number one, when animals get blown up, they tend to blow up in chunks, right? It's not like,
it's not.
You would have to have an absolute ton of dynamite.
Well, you would also have to have shrapnel included in that dynamite to shred it the way that this was described. But even still, I said it was like 2 to 4 inch chunks.
Right, that's what I was saying. There's like such small chunks,
right?
And not to mention, the lady would have at least heard, if not felt, the concussion.
Well, and the thing is, it doesn't seem like there was like any like blood residue, like sprayed.
Not pink mist in the air or anything like that.
So
that's crazy.
Theory or conspiracy theory number 3 is basically, people took it as like a spiritual sign or omen or things like that. Some Victorian area
manna from the Lord.
Exactly. That's pretty much what it said. Like, so some Victorian area commentary, flirted with supernatural or biblical language like manna from heaven, but make it horrifying. People joked about divine warnings, omens, or some kind of miracle gone horribly off recipe.
A miracle gone horribly off recipe.
Yeah.
You think about that, like Jesus messed up on his.
Yeah.
Jesus
just like, throw that one out. Like,
okay, Michael, Gabriel, you guys gather around today. I'm going to show you how to make the Lord's jerky. And as they're going through the process of trying to make it, Jesus is like, oops, well, that batch is no good. Just chucks it out.
Oops, all organs. Just,
oh, there's some organ stuff. Yeah, we don't want that in our jerky today, so we're going to toss that out. And Jesus just throws it down out of heaven, which, by the way, heaven is not up or down or any of that good stuff. But so Jesus just tosses out this meat, and it happens to land on this football field size space in Kentucky.
Yeah. The fact that this occurs in Kentucky, out of all the places in the continent, it's the perfect setting for this. So kind of reeling it back into more scientific theories, the non-tinfoil hat world.
Sure.
A couple of main theories came up. Some bad early theories was that the material was frog spawn or some kind of gelatinous organic material that had just dried out, been blown by the wind, rehydrated when it fell. Another idea
that is wild
was a type of jelly-like cyanobacteria, like star jelly it's commonly called, and people just thought it was meat.
They ate it.
Right. So the problem with that theory is the eyewitnesses and examiners described fibrous flesh, muscle, and organ tissue, not jelly-like blobs.
Yeah.
So, thinking like actual meat versus jello. Like,
I want to at least give these hillbillies enough credit to think that they would at least look at it and go,
exactly,
this looks like decent quality meat, not like some gelatinous nasty mess that fell from the sky.
Right. So the most accepted hypothesis is basically just vulture vomit.
But didn't this covered like a pretty good size space and enough where these people were able to gather up enough chunks to cook and eat it?
Right. So this is the reigning champ of all the theories. Vultures, specifically turkey vultures or black vultures, which are common in Kentucky. These birds are known to vomit up partially digested meat, which, when startled or when they need to lighten up to take flight, basically just chucking their carry-on for speed.
Sure.
So the idea is a flock of vultures stuffed with all this food gets spooked while flying over Bath County in synchronized move of truly nightmarish grace. They all toss their lunches all at once, releasing a spray of half-digested muscle and organ tissue, and then it falls as a quote-unquote meat shower over the Crouch farm.
The problem with that, though, is like I've seen tons and tons of turkey vultures in my life. Never seen more than like 5 of them in one place at a time.
Right. So this theory explains why the tissue samples look like various organs and muscles, just because they are...
Yeah, they consumed all that different stuff. Sure.
Why observers in science couldn't agree on one single animal. The vultures might have been eating more than one carcass. Why the distribution wasn't a single pile, but scattered chunks around a decent area. So modern write-ups in science and outlets and blogs lean heavily on this explanation, arguing that the vulture behavior plus the tissue types in surviving specimens make it for the plausible solution. So why this is still a mystery, because like I said, that was the best theory. They don't have a definitive answer of why it happened.
Yeah, I was going to say. Hey, also a funny one is when Brooke and I first started dating, I took her back home to North Carolina with me. We saw some like turkey buzzards flying around while we were driving one day. And I was like, you ever heard what one of those sounds like? And she goes, no. And I was like, well, they're called turkey buzzards because they sound like, come on. And did this like crazy scream while we're riding in the car. And so that's been like an ongoing joke for our family ever since, is every time I see them, I'm like, hey, you know what one of those sounds like?
That's funny.
Yeah. So anyways, so that's their most plausible theory that they could come up with as to why a bunch of meat fell from the sky.
So here are the holes in that theory though.
Yeah.
So it's not the perfect theory. Some critics point out that Mrs. Crouch and the others never mentioned seeing a huge flock overhead, which, I mean, turkey vultures, black vultures, they're not small.
No.
They're huge.
That's what I'm saying. Is like you usually know when they're around.
Yeah, you would see them.
They tend to circle a lot too.
Yeah.
So.
And they never mentioned seeing the huge flock overhead, which you might expect if enough vultures are vomiting enough to cover a football field worth of meat. Mm-hmm. Also, some descriptions say the meat looked fresh, not like half digested. Obviously, we don't know how fresh it looks when it's been expelled midair, but something, and it's not something that most people want to research.
Right.
So only
they also never heard the turkey buzzards going.
It's like a cat.
Yeah. Sorry if you're one of those people that get sick feeling off of that sound. My bad.
So only a few preserved samples survived into modern times, and at least one later analysis described them as organ tissue, which lines up with the vulture idea, but the evidence is too thin and too old to prove it definitively.
Yeah.
So the Kentucky meat shower sits in a fun little space of definitely real as far as multiple newspapers and scientific reports are concerned, probably explainable by gross natural bird biology, but it's still weird enough that you can have these fringe theories about, you know.
I don't buy the vulture thing at all. There's more plausibility to me of, I don't know, some farmer wanting to play a prank on somebody, and
right,
butchering up a cow and then, like, I don't know, using the air cannon or something like that to just spray meat all over the place or something. I don't know. The vulture thing is like, that seems too off base for me.
Right. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, that it makes a little sense, but again, not seeing those birds.
Like, I understand where they're coming from, but it feels like that was just the stretch that they could make to try to find something that could explain it.
And the thing is, it's not that she walked out and saw this. She was out there and it was actively happening.
Yeah.
I think that's where the
She's
bird
like literally getting hit by meat falling from the sky. So
yeah.
Which okay, so let's go into like the really like way out there realm in a sense is, what if it was a bunch of like starving hillbillies in the mountains and God was just like, all right, let's give them something to eat.
Right.
And just dropped some fresh meat and stuff down from the sky.
Right.
Like, I mean, that to me seems equally as plausible as the vulture thing.
Yeah.
But like,
and at least one of those things has happened before.
Could you imagine if we were just like outside hanging out at some point in time and then like steak just first starts falling from the sky?
This is the horror version of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Exactly. Yeah. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs was like it's happy day, awesome kind of stuff because it's like, oh, a cheeseburger, sweet. Yeah. But if you're standing out there and just raw meat starts falling from the sky, number one, I don't know that I could ever bring myself to eat it.
Right.
I would have the hardest time. It would have to be literally like
$20.
The meat. 50 maybe we're talking.
That's reasonable.
Yeah. my list of things I won't do for $20 is pretty small. I've eaten cat food and all kinds of other crazy stuff for $20. So but I'm just sitting there going like, if meat was falling from the sky over the space of like a football field,
right?
So it's very localized, and we're not sure what kind of meat it is, because it's like, what if it was dog?
Right. Or again, like what you said, like what if it was people? Like, I mean,
right.
Like get that good old long pork.
What if there was a prop plane that blended up a human being in the sky, and that was their meat that fell? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like something like that. Like I'd have a really hard time just embracing, okay, hey, meat from heaven, we're just gonna eat it, kind of thing. I don't know, man. That's a rough transition for me. It's a different thing when it's like manna, like what the Lord provided and stuff, and He gave instructions on.
Right.
You gather in the morning, you eat it during the day, and then whatever you don't eat, you got to get rid of because it's going to go bad for the next day. Like He gave them all kinds of instructions on what to do for the Israelites with manna, and then also with the quail that He provided and stuff like that. There was all kinds of provision in that sense, but I just can't wrap my mind around like, hey guys, look, I found this.
Yeah.
It fell from the sky. It was on my roof, and now I'm just gonna go barbecue it up.
Right.
Nah, this is gonna be a hard pass for me. That's a crazy story, though.
Right. Yeah, I saw that and I'm like, we got to talk about that. Cause
that's a fun one. Yeah. Gosh, there's so many things I just can't wrap my head around. Now I want an explanation for it too. Right. That's the hard part about it. Is I'll probably never get that, but
it's the early warning of the Enfield Horror.
Yeah. Well, everybody, welcome to season 2. We hope that you are along for this ride with us for the whole upcoming year, because we're just going to keep diving into these crazy stories, more cryptids. We got all the fun stuff planned for you guys. And we said it at the end of 2025, but we'll just keep saying this over and over again, that if you've got stuff you want us to talk about, if you got a topic, you got a crazy story like this, even if you have a story from your own life that you'd like to hear us read here on the podcast, we would love to dive into it. So send it over to us. Whether you go on social media, if you want to, if you're on Spotify, you can comment and leave us a comment about something you want us to talk about and stuff, and we'll look at those. But we would love to get your feedback, because we would just, we're going to continue down this journey. Yeah. Continue to explore this.
And with it being the first episode of season 2, it's early enough. If you want us to do anything else, like outside of just the podcast, I know at the beginning of December, we did a little stream on Twitch.
Some live stream stuff.
So if you would like to see us do more of that, I mean, we'll probably do more of it. But now that, if we have any new listeners or things like that, I will go and update the link tree and put our Twitch streaming on there. So just be on the lookout for that, and we'll try to get some other stuff that we have just recorded and kind of put it in short term content.
We played some mystery block Minecraft
Yeah.
together not too long ago, and that was
we're
hilarious.
gonna have to do more in that. Maybe I saw another one too. I was kind of telling you.
I think we
about.
should restart.
Oh yeah, we're
one of those,
going to,
and that way we at least have a little bit of a game plan moving into it, because it was a pretty rough start.
pretty chaotic. But yeah, so
needless to say, our little starter base that they gave us didn't last long.
No, not at all. So yeah, if you want us to see stuff like that, let us know. We can also if that does well, if Twitch isn't your vibe, let us know, and we can also do it on YouTube.
Yeah, we can stream and upload to wherever and stuff. So
Yep.
keep us updated on those things. Otherwise, make sure you guys go and check out all of our social media pages. Follow us on there, because when there are updates and when we do things like that, we'll put up a post and let you guys know ahead of time. And that way you can join in on all the fun. You can comment on all the different things we talk about here on the show, and we would appreciate that. And take an opportunity to share this out with somebody. There should be a share button somewhere close to where you're listening to us right now. So hit that share button, send it over to a friend and say, hey, these guys are morons, but they tell some interesting stories. Maybe you want to check them out, and invite them in to be a part of this crazy. We still haven't come up with a listener name, I don't think.
No.
Joshua-rites was the last.
I think
thing
the
we left off on,
Joshua-rites was about the one that I could come up with. But let us know in the comments.
Yeah, let us know in the comments what you think for names for you guys, and but share this with somebody that can become a part of this crazy family that we have put together. Otherwise, we're going to wrap up now, so we will plan on seeing you guys in episode 2 of season 2 of Good Morning Josh, and we love you. We hope that you guys have a great week this week, and we will talk to you soon.
Bye. Just the unsureness of that button press.
Oh yeah. No, I knew it was the right button. I was just like, do I want to press it? Because we were talking about redoing some of the music and stuff. So I was like, should I? Should I not?
Yeah, it's fine.